Bonsoir tout le monde, bonjour, konnichiwa, good afternoon. How are you feeling today? My name is Yuko de Neuville and I am coming to you live today to talk about the feeling of belonging. To me, one of the key to a successful expatriation, to a successful life abroad, is to feel this sense of belonging, of inclusion. I work a lot with my clients on this topic of diversity and inclusion. And to me, there are different ways to feel included in a new environment. One of the ways, to me, is to first of all to really be curious about the environment where you're going to, about the new environment. A lot of time I'm so surprised to see how many people actually move to another country and they don't even try to understand how people locally tend to think, tend to communicate, tend to work, make decisions. Each country, and even in a country, there are different cultures, right? There are different, depending on the city, there are different dialects, different cultures. So a culture, it's so complex as it is. But the first step to me is really to be curious and to learn about this culture. But it's not enough to me to feel this sense of inclusion. And as a matter of fact, I have been trying my whole life, and that was one of the topic in a post I posted just earlier today. I tried my whole life to fit in the box by learning the culture and by, when I lived in Japan, I grew up both in France and Japan. I tried to be like Japanese, I tried to be like a French, but it was not enough. I could never really feel like I was one of them because I was always considered as gaijin in Japan, which means foreigner, and in France I could see that I clearly didn't, people would see me as Japanese or Chinese. They would even, some people would even call me Chinese. But so to me the belongingness is also, it's mainly come from ourselves. How do we see ourselves? Do we know ourselves? Do we know where we come from? Do we know our values? Do we know the biases that we have? Because sometimes, especially when we move abroad, we have so many ideas about how, local culture is, how local people are. We have some stereotypes or generalizations. And so it's very important to know what are our biases, where we come from. And so when we better understand who we are as an individual, and when we accept also who we are, because the truth is, the reality is, we cannot live through others' eyes. Like I've been in my whole life tried to, feel this sense of belongingness through others' eyes, but the truth is, it has to come from ourselves. How do we see ourselves? Do we accept our uniqueness? Do we accept our differences? And do we see our uniqueness as something beautiful, So the belongingness, the sense of belonging needs to come from ourselves. So I really feel like there are two parts of that. One is, of course, to learn about the local culture and learn about our differences, our similarities as well. And the other thing is really to accept ourselves for who we are. And it doesn't have to be in terms of culture, it can be also in terms of roles. Do I accept myself in my different roles as a mom, as a spouse, as an entrepreneur? Do I accept myself? Thank you for the heart. Do I accept myself from for my different hobbies. The fact that I love to dance, but I also love to sleep on the couch and watching Netflix, right? So we have all dualities in us. And this is also something I love to dive deeper in it with astrology, because when I look at my clients' natal charts, even mine, it's so beautiful to see our different, dualities in our personality, in who we are, in our energies. But that would be a different topic. But so this is so important to accept ourselves for who we are. And when we go live abroad, even when we live in our country. Hi, Stephanie. Yes, dear Yuko, dualities are my life. Yes, and mine too. And I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. And I think that's beautiful, to have dualities. That's what makes us unique, beautiful. And when we move abroad, because that's the topic I love, I'm passionate about, when we move abroad in different cities, our dualities, I would say, expand, because we take from a different environment, different culture. It's also the same when we move from a job to another. It's like we are creating our own puzzle of different pieces. That's what makes us beautiful. And I am inviting you all to my webinar, which is called Write Your Story Abroad. Write your story abroad, because we all write our own story. And in this webinar, I will talk about cross-cultural adjustment, also about how to take care of our mindset when we are, going through all this adjustment curve. We are going to talk about identity, of course, dualities, all these things. So it's going to be on November 15th, and I will post all the information below the video. Thank you for being here with me today. Let's embrace our dualities. Let's realize that the sense of belongingness needs to come from ourselves first. We need to accept ourselves, and then it's going to be easier to spread love and to be able to connect with other people, no matter where they are coming from, no matter what language they speak. It will be easier, but it has to start from ourselves, from within. I'm sending you lots of love. Bye bye. Take care. See you soon. Merci, Stéphanie, d'avoir été là. Bye bye. Sayonara.